excited. VK Sealand even hopped into my Twitter DMs. He's like, we did it. And I was like, yes, you did. And you looked great doing it. So we'll see if they can get themselves a spot into tomorrow. A tough one here versus Vitality, though. They tend to struggle against KDOP, Fairy Peak, and Alpha. And after watching them play over the past few days, you can understand why. But Team Queso never can count them out. That's for sure.
Yeah, Vitality threatened Game 5 against BDS earlier, but weren't quite able to do it. And now here playing in the knockout gauntlet. Alpha in his box in the stop and then bumped. Fairy Peak will win the transition to midfield, and Fairy Peak will look, or Alpha will look for boost in the midfield. Off the backboard uncontested, looks for the tap, but can't quite put it in. And now off the backboard, Fairy Peak finds a corner. Atomic will pinch it off the woodwork and out. Demenza and VK Sealand now looking to transition. Infield pass, running up pass two, but into the box. Cleared away by Fairy Peak. That one bounces around and takes a Vitality bounce at the end.
Well executed transition from Queso as well. And second chance now for VK Sealand out of the corner, opening up the scoring.
See VK Sealand on the side here, passing to himself out of the corner. And catching Fairy Peak, moving. I think Fairy Peak thought he was going to get a challenge on the side. Didn't expect the bounce to go straight back into a shot. This caught too far forward, and that'll be Queso with the lead in Game 1.
Real good start for Queso. Can't ask for much more than that. And how about a second one? Fairy Peak thankfully playing the deep man there, going to make that stop.
Infield pass, looking good. Fairy Peak does stop it. Here's KDOP now. This guy looking for the fakes. Demenza will put it off the ground. Fairy Peak into the corner challenging. Atomic will counter. Now Alpha. By himself, KDOP was in the midfield, was hoping for a pass, but then realized he was out of boost and moved off to the side to try and extend their offensive pressure for longer, and they have done so here. Fairy Peak in the midfield. VK Sealand not going to make contact. It's up to Demenza in the goal, but nobody is challenging him immediately, so Demenza will just take the time, go to the corner, pick up boost, give his team the best chance to transition properly. VK Sealand, though, not able to beat Fairy Peak in the midfield, and we'll keep going. Finally, the clear the Team Queso needed. They'll try to look to extend this offense.
Wow, great control from Alpha there with the double commit from Vitality in the net. And I believe we were commenting on that a little bit yesterday as well, Wave, that Vitality do tend to get a little divey with each other when they get in front of their goal line, but more often than not, they're able to make it work. But do need to be careful, especially against a team like Queso, who's got such great layering in their offense.
Oh, KDOP finds Alpha, who tries to push it back into the midfield for KDOP again, but too much power on it. It'll go to the other corner. And Fairy Peak now coming in off the bounce. Into the corner again, boosts steal and rotates out, leaves space for KDOP, and now Alpha will pick this up as Queso was able to keep it on the wall to transition out, but Demenza now in the midfield. He's got Atomic just underneath him, and KDOP's taking his time in the corner. He's got to pass one, and now takes a bounce to get it around Demenza, but VK Sealand's got the read. Queso will keep that midfield control for now.
Gotta give credit to Team Queso and how well they're playing defensively. Vitality really do kind of have the campfire and marshmallows out there in the midfield for a good chunk of this game, but they're not really getting demoed. They're not getting their boost stolen often enough to really let Vitality squeeze them into their own half. I mean, they really are playing some solid defense.
Alpha across the midfield line. VK Sealand with the response to the box. Fairy Peak, nice. Not only does he save it, but clears it to the back corner behind him, reversing the direction from everybody. But good midfield responses again from Queso. Keep the ball in the box, and there's a bit more of that diviness you were talking about. Alpha and Fairy Peak collapsing on the ball in the box with no pressure. And here's Fairy Peak into the enemy box there after the clear. Now still the boost. Fairy Peak's been doing the best job on the pitch of grabbing opposition boost. VK Sealand defense with an open. Now just looking for the double tap, and he'll put it in. 2-0 for Queso.
Just a little too aggressive here for KDOP. Yeah, it's kind of that slow floater into the midfield. Honestly, looking at it again from his perspective, he was so far forward that he probably felt like he had to go for that, considering how hard it bounced off that wall and the fact it was headed over his head already. It was probably the right choice to actually try and get up and challenge that. So, product of being caught with a hand in the cookie jar, and they give up a second goal.
To the outside, Fairy Peak misses one, and now Alpha. Long ways down the middle of the field. VK Sealand with the response. He's got enough boost to reach this one into the box. Atomic looked for the retreating Doink, doesn't find it. Now Demenza into the corner. KDOP. Try to find a clear, but put it straight down. Now Alpha's having to work and just can't find contact at all. VK Salen will dunk him for a 3-goal lead.
You really don't see that very often. I mean, Alpha, I'm trying to figure out why in the world he even turned away from that ball on the wall. Did he not feel confident getting a good angle for the power clear off the wall? And he was just thinking maybe if he postured for it, the defense would give him space and he would be able to bring it down on a dribble? That's the only thing I can think of that Alpha was thinking.
Yeah, I'm not certain. It did look like one of those moments of just a small lapse in the read. In the moment you miss it, the window is gone and you now have to look for the second window. And the problem was VK Salen had such an advantage on the second window there.
Yeah, he just went for it. It's just like, no. you can't do that.
Looking to redeem things on the other end is Vitality yet to get on the scoreboard. Fairy Peak puts it high, drops it into the box for Atomic, and oh man, Alpha was closing on it. K-Dot Prown in the midfield looking for a goal just to give them some morale boost, take some momentum away from Queso as they go into game number 2. But game number 1, done and dusted at this point. Queso come out with strong power, and they'll get a 3-0 win.
Yeah, a really solid game from Queso on all fronts. I mean, like I said, they looked quality on defense. I believe we analogized Vitality yesterday to be kind of like a boa constrictor, right? They just wrap around and they just don't let go. And they tried to do that this game, but always able to find some type of gap, wiggle out. Team Queso doing an excellent job throughout that first game on defense to really never let the constriction start. And they picked apart a couple of those just weird mishaps over on that Vitality defense. I mean, well played, Queso. Go out, do it again, force them to beat you.
Surprisingly even scoreboard here too. 9 shots apiece for both teams and 9 saves to 7. Vitality trailing in that one by 2, but still you'd think that wouldn't really make that much of a difference there. Queso cleanly 3-0. All of the goals from VK Salen, also all of them unassisted. So VK Salen putting in the work by himself in this game, taking advantage of a few moments there. And again, yeah, interested to maybe go back and rewatch that one from Alpha's perspective a few times, just see, understand a little bit better of what was going through his mind.
It's just a weird one, you know. It's probably equal parts. Yeah, you made the wrong read and just trying to make the most of it and thinking, you know, let's try and just bring this down to the floor. And the opposition just swarmed him at just the right moment. And looking for game 2, Demensa denied by Alpha at the start. And everyone going to have to run away here, and that's a smart play from Demensa, just making sure they hang on to the ball for a few seconds.
Well, we'll see Demensa push forward. No, Alpha's able to save it off of his backboard to the outside. Atomic down to the box. Fairy Peak. Clear it long ways. And Fairy Peak through 1. K-Dop. Attempt. Now Atomic. Into the back third. Demensa's there with VK Salen in the midfield. K-Dop off this backboard. He's got lots of space, but Atomic's putting pressure on him from the side. They'll keep the ball trapped in the orange, and Team Queso right back to where they were in game 1, just locking down this midfield.
Gotta say, I'm liking the defensive touches from Alpha specifically. Right now, it's K-Dop and Fairy Peak who really aren't getting the good hits. And again, Alpha finds himself in an awful spot. Can't make this one. Tried to go up the back of the net. VK Salen finally gonna get an assisted goal here off the backboard touch from Demensa.
Oh, what a pass. And an excellent pressure. VK Salen crashing the box, recognizing the empty backboard that he would get a shot opportunity. And he's fast enough to get goal number 1 for game 2.
Oh, how about
look for one off. Pick up, and he finds it. VK Salen, 5 goals for Queso so far in the series. All of them scored by VK.
Oh, what a rocket from VK Salen.
Wow.
Ooh, K-Dop, try as you might. I mean, that really is just, I'm going to throw it, and if you make contact, fair enough. K-Dop couldn't reach it.
Atomic down to the sky with Demensa. Over the top of 2. Oh, Alpha's alone in the box. VK Salen's going to look to read him. He gets it high. He's got enough boost to reach it again. Drops it into the box. Fairy Peak gets pushed by Atomic. What a goal.
Team Queso swarming. Big block from VK Salen and just try and finish the job. And Fairy Peak, he actually played that about as well as you could ask. I mean, he didn't panic on that second attempt. But VK Salen still actually had the clear. Just the follow-up was right on him from Atomic. And running away in game 2 is Team Queso.
This is dominant from Queso at this point. 6 goals unanswered across 2 games of Rocket League. against a team with KDOP, Fairy Peak, and Alpha 54. Very few teams can say that. Fairy Peak now. Long way down the field. He's got KDOP on the far side. He's going to have to work this ball by himself. He's got Atomic and 2 players on the backboard for him. Alpha's going to try and put a threat on it, but doesn't get contact at all. And now, falling back, Atomic pushes the pressure on the other end. Alpha with a flick over Demenza is good, but VK Salen locking down that back line. And wow, Alpha on the wall, setting up Fairy Peak. Gets to the corner. Can KDOP find this? No. Demenza gets to the ball first and sends it the entire length of the field. Gets the dunk of the lifetime on KDOP, but the ball will barely hit the woodwork and bounce out.
That's really what's going to have to change for Vitality. Oh, Fairy Peak can't stop it. VK Salen's going to turn in another one. What an outstanding performance from this guy.
This is insane. Winning the drag race with Fairy Peak. Catches him just barely, not able to react fast enough. Fairy Peak not able to react fast enough. Not a sentence you say very often. And a 4-0 lead now for Queso.
Cruising. And Vitality, you got to make some adjustments right now. And it's really coming down to KDOP being that third man whenever they're on offense. He's expecting his teammates to be able to get that ball to him. When that doesn't happen, he's not in position to halt those counterattacks. And Vitality, when they get boxed in on their half, especially in this game too, they have accomplished nothing. Ooh.
Alpha tries, but Demenza able to be on top. He's in front of KDOP in that moment and intercepts the pass. Now KDOP in this from the midfield, takes to the sky, looks for Fairy Peak the midfield. Pass doesn't connect as Atomic blocks. Now Alpha off the wall, doesn't make contact either, and it's a completely open backfield. Demenza's just got to find this as KDOP will cover him up just barely at the point of contact. The defense will hold, but down by 4, Demenza with a full tank of boost and all of the world to work with here. KDOP's clear is not great, but there's no extra pressure from Queso, who I think understand a 4-goal lead. Just hunker down and don't make mistakes on the back line. You'll win game 2 easily.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go into cruise control mode here if you're Team Queso. You can play boom the ball as much as you want and keep the deep guy. Like, even if you get in the one-on-one scenario, it's not going to make too much of a difference. Even if you concede one at this point, it's just such a monumental task to overcome in such a short amount of time for Vitality here.
Fairy Peak drops this. KDOP into the midfield for Demenza. Alpha looking, he'll loft it into the sky and then try to chase it down himself. Fairy Peak, though, comes up underneath him, and Alpha falls on him for the strangest form of a double commit I've ever seen. And Team Vitality very much probably needs to spend some time in the mental tank, figuring out what is going on with them right now, being outshot 13-2 in game 2.
Ugly game 2 for Vitality. They held a lot of pressure in game 1. And I really do just think it comes down to, like, right there, KDOP, he's just going to be a little late. Now Alpha's got the perfect timing, and how about this pinpoint pass from Fairy Peak?
Finally on the board, and will not be perfectly shut out. Fairy Peak with 2 excellent touches in the midfield, and Alpha well placed in the middle, and he'll get on the board. 42 seconds left to come back. Extremely unlikely, but good to break up the momentum and get a little bit of morale back on your side for Vitality.
Feel a little better. Honestly, there's no 2 ways to look at it here in this. Well, how about that's going to go straight in? Okay.
Okay.
What a challenge from KDOP.
And all of a sudden, a 2-goal game. Fairy Peak's passes, man. And Atomic, getting dunked by KDOP there. All right, let's see what happens.
Yeah, he wants more money. That's why that went in.
Somebody came. The Vitality coach, like, hey, by the way, you remember there's money on the line for this? Oh yeah. Oh, I should win then. Okay, let's go. Atomic to the corner. Alpha put pressure on him, and VK Salen. Wow. They're trying. Especially now with a 2-goal lead, definitely possible. Fairy Peak looks for the drop to Alpha, puts it on target, and Demenza gets the block. Now KDOP rotating back around in the middle. Demenza will stop him, and they'll look for the counterattack. Fairy Peak will block it on the retreat, but Queso's trying. They understand the comeback's possible, and they are not giving them any room for error. As this clock winds down, things gonna look pretty simple. And it will be Team Queso with 2 wins in a row, despite the last-minute life from Vitality.
They almost made believers out of me there for a second. Starting to string together a couple of good looks over on Vitality, but no, completely outclassed here in game 2. And I think really what I want to see Vitality change up who's going to mainly be that guy who has to play support. I know you don't always have the most control over that, obviously. It's just, I think K-Dop's trying too hard to play the offensive third and willing to be aggressive, and that's not what Vitality needs right now in this series. They need a little more rock-solid defensiveness out of that midfield line, so I think I'd like to see K-Dop probably be the guy taking it out of their own half and trust him to find a way past the defender instead of relying on Alpha. And just let Alpha or Fairy Peak be that guy in the middle so they can at least get a delay on that, because this was a disaster.
Yeah, and so I feel like so much of their struggle is coming in the midfield, we talk about the midfield, but it's the back third. It's they're struggling to really solidly move up. They're spending so much time playing defense. That's how we get a shot line that is so lopsided as we did in game 2. So if we get if Vitality is able to clear better out of the corners, if they're able to get the ball over the front line of Queso a little bit more often, I think we'll have a more even series here. But now on match point, Queso looking for the sweep. It's K-Dop. Out of the side, VK Salem and Demensa moving up as a unit onto the edge, over the top of one. Look at the bump on Fairy Peak, doesn't find him though. And K-Dop through the sky against Demensa, wins a challenge, but VK Salem will be up before Alpha can close on that. Here comes Fairy Peak, blocked in front. Now K-Dop with more pressure, Vitality looking better already in game 3.
Much better start, to be sure, but a little bit of space finally, and Demensa right down the middle, Fairy Peak in time, and here's where it really matters. Get this transition, and then hanging on to the ball.
It's Fairy Peak. Through one Alpha. Just to the side. Now VK sailing down the field. K-Dop off the back wall, gets dunked. It's in front of the box again. Atomic will put it high, and here comes Demensa and gets the challenge against Fairy Peak. Goal number 1 for Queso.
All about understanding angles here for Demensa. You know it's an awkward one, and just get out in front of Fairy Peak. His only clear opportunity is out to the corner, and just get out in front of it. If it doesn't go in, fine, but don't let him get the clear, and that's what he did.
It's one of those interesting moments where there's the whole concept of faking is when someone's jumping for that sort of angular block, and you just don't make the touch so that they don't get the touches. But in this situation, Fairy Peak can't fake because the ball goes in if he doesn't. And on the other side, Atomic off the crossbar, had an open net to shoot at, but didn't have enough boost, I think, or time to double jump up to it to get directly in front of the ball. Now on the other side, Alpha gonna try. Atomic pushes him away. Fairy Peak now in. Alpha turns the 180, looks for the shot, into the box, and Fairy Peak will score for a tie game.
The brilliance here is actually all in Alpha's touch when it comes across the box. Right here, he doesn't go for the shot. He just drops it down in front because he knows Fairy Peak is going to be beating that defender back. Well done, Alpha. Don't be greedy. Just get it to where it can score.
And keep Vitality in game number 3. Vitality, after dropping the first 2, cannot afford another loss. So we'll see. Here he goes, the shot. Alpha gets the pass to himself, and Vitality's got a lead.
Spicy one there from Alpha. Fairy Peak gets a little bit of an awkward flick, but it ends up working out just fine because look at the power Alpha put on that one. Got all the way around the backside of that ball. 76 miles per hour. Scorcher.
Beautiful stuff. Atomic now on the edge. Falling on this one, Fairy Peak. Take control. Looks for the dribble, flicks at midfield, wasn't being challenged by anyone, but has so much space now onto the backboard to Mensa. Will break up the pass, but K-Dop finds the read, puts it in the box, and behind 2, into double coverage, a 2-goal lead for Vitality.
What a shot from K-Dop. Popped that one high. Demensa, that's not a bad touch. It's kind of all he had, really, but the problem was they just didn't have the time to recover again. And K-Dop, I don't even know how you pick out that gap in the net, but well done to you.
Yeah, tiny hole. And he'll place it well. 3-1 now, Vitality coming back to life. Alpha. Play to the edge. Now Demensa looking for the pass to Atomic here. Soft touches. Well, actually, maybe even just the fake touch. Atomic putting pressure on. Back in front of the box. And VK Salem, the MVP of the series so far, can't find a way to take the ball from Vitality as they advance. Now into the box again. K-Dop in the corner with a touch off of one, and then a dunk on another. Looks for the bump on the goalie, but Demensa gets over the top of him and then wins a challenge against Fairy Peak. Alpha in the backfield with Atomic out of the corner. Demensa's up for it, drops it softly, and Alpha makes the block.
Wow.
What a recovery, and K-Dop looking for a counterattack. Flip reset, puts it into the box again, but Atomic on the retreat will get the stop. What a counterattack.
That clear from Fairy Peak was absolutely gorgeous. Such a tight, controlled flick from having to cut that ball down at such a weird angle, but they're not done yet.
they go. Demensa on the side of Atomic, putting the pressure on as we've crossed halftime. And Vitality enjoying a lead for the first time in the series. Can they hold on to it? VK Salem across one. And then clear out of the box. Vitality now holding more and more onto the back line. And you pointed out Fairy Peak's clear. I think those clears have been a huge part of the change in pace for Game 3.
It's definitely something you wanted for sure, and they have given you just as you requested. But the game is not over yet. I'm surprised there's still this much time left. I feel like so much has happened in this game. We're just under 2 minutes left. Wow.
There's been interesting games. I realized this is the first time I've even really checked in with the clock the entire series, because the game has just been so kind of just breakneck speed. And the games have felt a little bit over before you know it. This one, so much more even. As VK Salem bumps him high, Demensa will clear straight down the middle of the field, and VK Salen's up there, bounces it off of K-Dop and into the corner. Alpha's looking for a mega read, and he'll get it, but Atomic counter reads him now back into the corner as Demensa across the field. VK Salen's up for this, looking for the read on Alpha, but he'll keep it glued to the wall and around. But Atomic on the far side is able to push it back into the middle of the box. Demensa coming from the backfield as K-Dop's going to use a lot of boost just to get it here. He's able to push it through VK Salen and into the backfield, and this is good for Vitality. Atomic demolished, but VK Salen taking control. Demensa into the sky before Alpha. He's got to pass one, and Alpha just goes for the second touch, pulls back on that, uses all of his boost to block it, and Vitality hold on to control.
You gotta like the ideas from Team Queso, but Vitality one step ahead, and Atomic just trying to catch K-Dop forward again. This time he won't get beat. Trap from Atomic in the corner. Oh, miss-executing on the flick.
Alpha through one and onto the wall. Oh, down comes close one as Vitality with 22 seconds left, holding on to a 2-goal lead. Game 3 looking like it's going to go Vitality's way as Atomic tries to get it to VK Salen, and Alpha will take it away from him. That one really does it here as they get the demolition as well. That'll close up everything with 10 seconds left. 2 goals, nigh impossible. Vitality rallying back here in Game 3, tightening up their back line and evening the score line a little bit here, able to put up, I believe, 7 shots to the mere handful they had in game number 2.
Had 7 himself.
7 by himself. Oh, this is 11 there. Whoa, well done.
Good game there from Vitality. Much better. And you pointed it out, the clears were much better, definitely connecting down the pitch. And even if they weren't always able to turn it into extended pressure, that's really all you can ask for. An infinitely better look than... I'm going to say game 2. I think game 1 went pretty okay for Vitality. It was just they couldn't put the ball into the back of the net. Game 2 was the real disaster, and they seem to have bounced back quite nicely from that.
This game, that's bringing... Wow, English. Freeing up their backfield, successfully finding clears and getting to play more offense, which is where Vitality has shined so much for years now at this point. Is the name of the game for them. Once they get that ball in enemy territory and they're able to get their offensive rotations going, I feel very confident that Vitality can put away nearly any team. Queso, keeping them trapped was huge. Now, can they do it again? Can they find a way to put pressure on that back line? Maybe look for demos as you're rotating through, maybe going for boost steals. Keep them trapped back there again so that you can close up this series and improve to day 3.
That is something that Vitality does tend to be good at with the blindside demos. They've got a couple players who are no strangers to that strategy from back in ye olden days. But unfortunately, I don't know if they've really got that kind of ability to press that aggressively against Team Queso, because sure, they did get boxed in a lot more than they did in a couple of the previous games, but the clear game is still quite strong, that it's quite risky for Vitality to go that far forward, I think, still.
Man, Atomic to Demensa here in the midfield, and just the go back and watch Atomic as he rotates in, steals both boosts away from K-Dop, moves into the corner, bounces it off the corner, and then takes a second touch to gain control and turns it into an air dribble. Such a clean rotation transition all by himself, and now looking for more pressure. He's been trying to tag team with Demensa into this first goal for game 4. Nothing to show for it just yet. Atomic now for VK Salen on the backboard, doing the drop back to Atomic. Oh my goodness, TK on top.
Ooh, you love seeing shots like this. Atomic, way to put that one up for VK Salen, and how about the pass back down? I'm amazed that Atomic went that close to him. I mean, you know the pass is coming down, but how do you feel so confident getting so tight with it? Ooh.
Brilliant stuff as Queso gonna enjoy a lead in game 4. And those leads have been A nightmare for Vitality in this series, but oh my goodness, K-Dop looking for the read on VK, and he didn't touch it. So it just rolls by and makes everyone look silly.
Unlucky there for K-Dop. That was the perfect time to really press the issue there, and Team Queso saw him coming.
You know it's tilting too. There's a little voice in the back of K-Dop's mind right now, being like, okay, screw you, man, come on.
Except it's actually his very quiet, casual French.
Yeah,
I should have just hit the ball, you know?
and it says it in French too, so it's
exactly.
I don't know. 3:16 here is Fairy Peak onto the backboard. And Alpha following it up another one. Here comes Demensa out of the block, but Fairy Peak somehow puts the ball through Demensa. Oh, tie game.
I think Demensa missed. Oh, he's on no boost. Yeah, he did not get a piece of that. He was coming out and didn't think he had to cover that far over. Well done, Fairy Peak.
It's an infuriating situation for Demensa where you feel like I've got all the shots blocked, and it's like, no, just somehow actually you have so much less blocked than you think you do. The ball goes in. Vitality rallying back early here in game 4 to tie the game. And now Fairy Peak looking for more pressure. A clear from VK Salen will change things up. And now ping pong around the field. VK pass to Atomic to push it onto the backboard. K-Dop will get a bumper onto it as it leaves. And that extends it all the way to the back third of the Queso.
Ooh, awkward. Jeez. This is a good move from Vitality here. They're slowing it down whenever they notice all of Team Queso just can't come out and get him. So it's just, okay, slow it back down, make sure we can set up another push before we just continue trying to press at everything. And there's a bad double commit. That's not going to work anymore.
Oh, but he somehow wins the challenge on the second the second aerial challenge of that flight. And they haven't lost control of the ball. I was right with you that, that should be a scoring opportunity for Queso, and yet they're actually struggling to get this ball across half field.
Yeah, this K-Dop made a big block, and now Fairy Peak might be able to turn in a go-ahead goal on transition with a little extra help. It's going to bounce off the wall. Fairy Peak is letting everything go. Demensa comes through, smashes Alpha out of the way, and everything's going to break down.
Wow. The fact that didn't turn into a goal is crazy, and then they'll get this one instead. What a drop pass. Alpha to secure it, and they'll take the lead.
Way to recover from such a uncertain scenario for Fairy Peak. The pass straight to the floor. How about right in front of Alpha and making sure that one got all the way to the back post. The quick turnaround from Vitality to go from, oh my gosh, I can't believe we didn't score there, to it's fine, we have another chance, just right on the other side if you give it a couple seconds.
And a pass on a dime as well. VK Salen over the top on one. Fairy Peak's already up for it. Atomic reaching down. As VK Salen with the demolition on transition out. Mentioned before the game, demos might be a key to Queso coming back into this series. That's the first one we've seen. Demensa now looking for VK Salen on the pass. Atomic was there as well. Brilliant setup pass, just barely off the money.
They are going for the destroy your all types of morale and just uninstall type of goals. Man.
It's been a stylish day. Demensa into the corner. Alpha with a clear. Here comes VK Salen. Demensa looks for the redirect, but cleared away by Fairy Peak. K-Dop in the corner now with 1 minute left. They're holding on and trying to force game 5. VK Salen through the sky. He's got 2 defenders up for it. It's off the backboard and dangerous. K-Dop goes to the goal, and Alpha falls on it to clear it. Now Atomic wins the challenge before being demolished. It's back in front of the box. Here's VK Salen.
Ooh, still not a good one. You need the second one. Excellent. There we go. You can always count on Alpha. I should have known. They were fine.
Demensa passes to VK. They get the pinch. He's up for it. Challenged by Alpha. They'll play to the corner. 30 seconds later, and Vitality still hold on to the lead. Atomic to the outfield. Fairy Peak reaching, but doesn't make contact, and VK Salen keeps it on the edge. He's out of boost, but he's up against Alpha with 2 players bearing down on them. Demensa from the midfield. Also low on boost, but pushing for overtime. K-Dop out of the corner. Back to midfield, and he dunks the ever-living daylights out of VK. They'll take a 3rd goal and send us to game 5.
We should have known Vitality would not go away quietly. Dunking the daylights is right. I don't even think he thought K-Dop was going to be able to come back down and even make a chance at that. And you can kiss goodbye game 4.
Man, after the start Queso had, 7 goals to 2 in the first 2 games.
Oh, he missed.
And now things completely swinging the other way. 3-1, 2 games in a row for Vitality. We'll go to game 5. Winner plays tomorrow.
Wow. Tense one here for Queso, and you're kind of scratching your head too. You score the highlight reel goal in this one, and we should have known that as soon as they scored that pass up off the backboard that they weren't going to win the game, as is always the case.
Yeah.
But
Interesting here that Demensa, such a quiet series. He has no registered shots on the scoreboard. And to me, the interesting part of that is that I remember at least 2 different moments of Demensa being up as the person being passed to. So either his shots, either not making contact or his shots not being accurate enough to register as a shot. With the in-game statistician here, would love to see Demensa tighten things up just slightly there. I think we would have a much more even game and maybe be in overtime.
It's tough to say. You also have to factor in that one of those goals Vitality scored was the one where Demensa was coming out of net, and he just completely didn't make contact with the ball, and Fairy Peak just went right through him. So it's maybe a little bit shaky for Demensa there in Game 4, but I think he's not too phased here to look into Game 5, and they're a lot more worried about this start from Vitality. K-Dop just making sure that they can keep the ball for an extra touch or 2.
We're on a champions field as Fairy Peak will put in the first goal, and if there's a team I'm terrified to get reverse swept by, it's Vitality. Fairy Peak finds goal number 1.
Oh, they all bit. They saw Alpha pop that up with Fairy Peak right behind him. They were like, oh no, dive! And then they just stood and watched them make fools of themselves and scored the open net.
Okay, so you are nervous. Here comes K-Dop onto the backboard, looking for a second touch, doesn't find it. Now the challenge from Alpha. Oh, cleared by Demensa. Defense very quickly figuring itself out here and getting a little bit less panicky from Queso as they'll try to tie this series back up.
I'm trying to understand why Fairy Peak let Alpha be the one to come through from much farther away to go for that shot. We'll never know if it would have made a difference, and VK Salem gets a gimme pass from K-Dop, and thankfully Fairy Peak's on the line.
VK, the standout player for Queso in this series. Can he clutch up in Game 5? It's K-Dop over the top of 1. Alpha to turn on this one, quickly tries to challenge, but has to back off. VK Salem too present in the corner. And now Fairy Peak. Can he find Alpha in the midfield? It'll take a bounce. K-Dop just puts it right back into the corner. Salem will slow things down and pick up the boost, but Alpha wins the challenge. And Demensa will help out Salem as they will transition. Atomic with the shot, it's in! Oh my goodness, beautiful placement, tie game!
What a shot from Atomic. VK Salem let her fly, and K-Dop so close. And Atomic, he was committed to that ball all the way. He wasn't thinking about the challenge. It's just, I gotta reach this one first before I even worry about that.
Wow. And we're tied up in Game 5. Cross 1, Demensa. Looking for the lead. He puts it nearly into the goal, and it does just barely break the goal line before bouncing out. Atomic now on the backboard again. Fairy Peak with a miss. Alpha with the save. Here comes Demensa onto a very loose defense, and still the blocks come through. K-Dop with a transition downfield. Vitality now breathing down the necks of Queso, trying to push this one into the back third and take the lead back.
Ooh, a little heavy touch here from Demensa. It's actually, oh my gosh, it's gonna work. VK Salem, he hit this ball so hard at the midfield line right here. I didn't think they were gonna get anything out of this, and he turns it into a dunk.
Oh my, dunking like off the, it happened to have it bounce off the ceiling? What? And then K-Dop says, oh, well, dearie me. I thought I would have a chance to touch this, but no. And Queso had the lead again.
Maybe a little fortunate for VK, but that's fine. You'll take that. Either way, it was a heck of a follow-through.
Fairy Peak pressuring VK Salem on the wall here. VK gets it past him, flips over the top of 1. Alpha stops it. Here comes Atomic in for a shot, and K-Dop will get a block. Now VK Salem on the outside. Past 1. He's got Demensa in the midfield to work with. Can Demensa find the accuracy he couldn't have in game number 4? No. Well, he couldn't. Maybe the accuracy was there, but too many defenders in front of him. And now Fairy Peak through another. Alpha off the edge. Out to K-Dop, and the infield pass. Looks for the bumps to free up the back line. Can he tuck it back around? No, they won't find control in the corner. Queso will find the clear.
There's just misunderstanding there. I think K-Dop was trying to pass it back to Alpha, and Alpha was saying, I'm just going to demo the guy. And so the miscue there just squanders the chance.
Vitality trailing by 1 at halftime. K-Dop on the outside, having to back off, gets demolished. And now Salem putting pressure on, wins the challenge. Fairy Peak's not quite there, but Demensa had to just stretch long ways across to find a shot, so lead will stay at 1, but here comes Queso. More pressure.
Here we go.
Alpha through the the sky. Flip reset.
Oh
Uses
my
it immediately
God,
to put it into
mama.
the corner.
Whoa.
And it's just barely off. Atomic's able to push it away and off to the side. And Queso will hold on to the lead.
Oh, you thought Alpha did it again, didn't you? Took a little skip off the crossbar, and Team Queso get out of a bad spot.
Alpha trying to get fancy on the drift catch. Instead, Queso hold on to the lead. Demensa comes in, and that'll be 2 players in the corner. Atomic's got to make this stop, and he will push it into the back line again. Force a second clear out of Vitality, which buys so much time for the rest of Queso to get back on the defense. Atomic looks for Demensa on the outside. Nice pass, K-Dop. Down to the corner, Fairy peeks there. Off the back wall, Alpha's up against Atomic. To the side once more, and he bumps VK sailing into it. It's above the goal. Fairy Peak needs to push it down for K-Dop, but no, the clear comes through. Demensa the midfield. Alpha onto the backboard. K-Dop trying, but thinking about it. The defense of Queso, too strong, time and time again. Across the net, VK sailing. A double commit for Atomic and VK, but they get all of that ball, and Atomic will win the challenge again.
Wow, a huge couple of challenges, and Atomic back the other way. K-Dop diving across his net, able to make the save. Everything gonna take a moment's pause. Huge defensive stand, though, from Queso right there.
And they're holding on to the lead. 1 goal difference with 42 seconds left to go. K-Dop just can't barely. Oh, he was so close to reading that play and putting it into the open net, but no, the touch was just strange enough. Alpha now to the corner. With 30 seconds left, here comes K-Dop.
Oh, tough one.
Onto the backboard, and Atomic will catch it. Back to midfield, Fairy Peak's trying, but out of boost now. 2 players miss, 3 players miss. Demensa's got a ball all by himself in the corner with the entire rest of his team. Atomic needs to back out here. But Fairy Peak into the mid, and VK wins another challenge. Wins a second one as well. Just winning the challenges over and over again. Do not give Vitality a moment to breathe. Queso, 5 seconds away from it. Alpha into the air. He's got Demensa to get through. Can't even get it through the front line. Fairy Peak now with an opportunity to keep it in the air. Slam to the ground. K-Dop puts it to the corner. He gets it and catches it. We'll go to overtime.
Oh my gosh, K-Dop's been playing tight third man, and here's where it absolutely needed to be the case. Oh, look at the early flip to make sure he made it to that ball and it wasn't gonna kiss the floor. Oh man.
Oh, what is happening? Overtime in Game 5. Vitality come to life at the last possible moment. And do they put it away here? No, Demensa's got an open net, and all. It was all for naught. Queso advanced to day 3.
Atomic, what a catch on the midfield. Alpha spawns on the wrong side. He spawns on the same side that K-Dop was headed to. That's the most unlucky thing if you're Vitality, because if K-Dop, I mean, there's no way for him to know, right? But if K-Dop knows Alpha's gonna spawn over there, he's gonna play the backside of the net, and he's probably got a much better look at that. But they get crushed on the pass back into the middle, and Team Queso fend off the reverse sweep.
They do. They fend off the reverse. It felt like we had like a reverse sweep within a reverse sweep here in Game 5 of like scoring at the very last possible moment to push it to overtime. But no, they stave off it all, and Queso advance here. Jorby, you look like a genius. And man, what a series though. What a game.
That was wild. You don't like to see Vitality work their way into a 0-second goal and then just get crushed right off the kickoff, but it's got to happen at some point, right? And Queso gets a chance to go back-to-back regional wins with that performance. So well done. You absolutely earned it.
Well, let's head back to the desk to wrap things up for today and hear about day 3.